The Super Mario series has always been full of fun and creativity since the very beginning. When it comes to platforming games, or really just video games in general, it doesn't get much better than this mustachioed red plumber. Sometimes I get so focused on covering all of Nintendo's other amazing franchises that I forget to show some love to this incredible series that started it all. Over the years, Mario has consistently had some of the most joyful and enjoyable adventures of all time, and I think that deserves some real appreciation. Now, Mario has been in a lot of games. I mean, there's Mario Kart, Mario Party, Mario & Luigi, Paper Mario, Mario Strikers, Tennis, Golf, Dance Dance Revolution, Mario Mix, and so on. It would be impossible to cover all of Mario's spin-offs at once, so today I'll just be focusing on the mainline 2D and 3D Super Mario games. Replaying all of these great games has been a lot of fun, and it's reminded me that this series really is one of the very best. This is why I love Super Mario. Probably the biggest and most important thing to get right in a platformer is the movement, and Mario has always controlled incredibly well. Nintendo always manages to make simply jumping up and down a lot of fun, and it feels great to string together all of Mario's different moves into satisfying combos. Most of these games take different approaches to how much control they give you, whether it's the more limited movement of the 2D games or the more open feelings of the 3D games. Each style is fun in their own way. Mastering how to control Mario in a 2D space is very different from doing the same in 3D, so it's rewarding to learn both types. One of my favorite little details about the movement in this series is that there's often small correctional moves that let you save yourself at the last second. Stuff like Flood in Mario Sunshine, the spin in Mario Galaxy, that little twirl you can do in the new Super Mario Bros. Games, and throwing Cappy in Mario Odyssey. These tiny moves allow you to be more risky with your jumps because you can save it later with a well-timed spin, which makes the overall platforming even more fun. I also love how the amount of time you spend with each game pretty equally matches your skill level. It always takes me a while to get adjusted to each different movement system at first, but once I spend a couple hours with it, I'll be flying through levels in no time. And then there's Super Mario Odyssey, which has such perfect controls that I can get right back into the flow of things from the start. There's a reason Mario games are so popular in the speedrunning scene, because quickly jumping around obstacles with perfect timing feels fantastic. I always preferred playing the 3D games since it feels more free overall, but Super Mario Maker was able to teach me how great the 2D games can be as well. I think a lot of people look at Mario as kind of a safe and boring franchise, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Each entry takes plenty of risks and introduces tons of new ideas. Even just adding new power-ups for the next game will give Mario an entirely unique moveset that has to work with every level in the game, and feel good to control. It's honestly amazing that all of it works together so perfectly. Every power-up is useful in different situations, and it's super fun to learn how to use each one in the best way possible. Mario Odyssey gets rid of most of the traditional power-ups in favor of controlling the enemies you throw Cappy onto, which gives this game so many different movement sets. With so many different ways to control Mario across the series, it's a miracle that almost all of them feel great. I said almost all of them. The platforming and movement is really at the core of what makes Mario so much fun, and it's impressive how the developers continue to make it feel fresh and interesting with every new game. But almost equally as important as the movement is the actual levels that you're platforming through. You can have the best controls in the world, but if the levels aren't well designed, the game will fall apart. But of course, Mario also has some of the best level design in the business. Each platforming challenge is laid out in a way that makes sense and feels good to jump around, which isn't an easy thing to create. Making something that feels challenging but still fair is a really hard task, and the Mario team always knocks it out of the park. Even at its most difficult, it's still always clear what you need to do next time to not fall to your death. The controls are deeply connected to the level design, as all the levels are created for each one of Mario's movesets. For example, Mario Odyssey has a lot more free-flowing movement that allows the player to go pretty much anywhere, which matches the huge sandbox levels of the kingdoms. The more limited movement systems of games like Mario Galaxy and 3D World feel incredible because the levels are designed around that specific moveset. It probably wouldn't feel great to run around the Sand Kingdom with Mario Galaxy's controls, but on the flip side, playing a Galaxy level with Mario Odyssey's controls would be so easy that it wouldn't even be fun. I used to not like how short Mario's long jump is in 3D World, but after a while I realized that it's perfect for the levels in that game, where the jumps are never too big to use that move effectively. What I'm trying to say is that one moveset isn't inherently better than the rest. They all have their own purposes and feel great in different ways, and the level design always reflects that. The levels also feel specifically designed to reward more skilled players by constantly offering you ways to skip little segments with well-timed jumps. Running around the huge levels of Mario 64 or Sunshine will never get old, and rushing through the tightly designed challenges of Super Mario World and Mario Galaxy is equally as fun. Bowser's Fury had the seemingly impossible task of combining the more linear and open styles of Mario level design into one complete package, but it managed to pull it off beautifully. Lake Lapcat is a huge open world with no loading screens or hub worlds, but each island is like its own self-contained level that plays out linearly. I'm guessing this is the direction that Mario will go in future games, as it's just the perfect combination of the two styles. Playing through all these games over the past couple weeks has been really fun because they all feel different and unique to play, which keeps things feeling fresh even when I was on the 12th one in a row. I'll talk about more of the actual gameplay mechanics and ideas a little later, so for now I'll just say that the level and world design is an essential part of what makes Mario the king of gaming. One of the best parts about Super Mario is how full of happiness and joy these games are. Pretty much every color in the rainbow is used here, and it all looks fantastically vibrant. A big reason why I keep playing is knowing that there's always a beautiful new level or world right around the corner. Super Mario Sunshine is a great example of how creative this team is, because they managed to make each level feel unique and interesting while still sticking with the beach and summertime theme. But when it comes to pure visual variety, Mario Odyssey has to take the cake. Lake Lamode, New Donk City, the Forgotten Isle, Mount Volbano, and the Moon are all amazing and so much fun to look at. Bowser's Castle in this game especially looks fantastic, as they gave the classic lava world a complete overhaul and gave it this super cool Japanese style. The colorful clouds in the background, and the way the spark sounds like a traditional instrument as you're flying through the sky. It's all just incredible. Switching to the 2D games for a bit, Super Mario Bros. 3 always blows my mind that it's on the same system as the original, as the visuals almost look like they could be on the Super Nintendo. New Super Mario Bros. U can also look really great at times. It's just a bummer that most people were burned out on this line of games at the time. I've also always loved how Super Mario World looks, and it's aged like fine wine over the years. This is pretty much the peak of 16-bit graphics in my opinion. When it comes to the sense of scale and epicness, Mario Galaxy is easily the best. Fighting Bowser in this game feels way more intense than it has any right to, especially with the epic choir singing in the background, which leads me into my next point, which is the music. Mario music is simply terrific. There are just so many memorable songs from this franchise's history. There's the happy and upbeat tunes like Double Cherry Pass, the slower, more nostalgic sounding songs like Dire Dire Docks, and once again, the pure epicness of Mario Galaxy is just something to behold. If I start listing off every Mario song that I love, we'd really be here all day, so I'll stop there for now. The soundtrack blends in so well with the platforming and world design, and is the final piece of the puzzle that makes these games so much fun to play and replay for years. I really love when the level design itself is built around the music, like in Beat Block Skyway or Beat Block Galaxy. Most of Mario's music is so full of joy that it'll instantly put you in a better mood, but there's also the more sad songs that are just so full of emotion, and it's crazy that one series can do both so well at the same time. But if there's one single thing that's most impressive to me about this series, it's the constant introducing of new ideas and gameplay mechanics. I talked about the level design earlier, but what I didn't mention is how often new ideas are introduced. In just one level, there will be multiple different things explored effortlessly that basically never get brought back again. Games often feel like they're stretching their content thin to try to get as much playtime out of it as possible, but Mario never does that. Right when you start to get used to a new mechanic, boom, a new one is already being used. Playing through a Mario game is like a tornado of amazing concepts and ideas woven into the gameplay like some kind of expert sewing machine. The ideas are also really easy to understand right away, which is very important when you're moving as fast as these games are. If the mechanics were more complicated and took a while to get used to, it would feel too confusing. But each new idea is simple and easily understood with just a quick glance. Saying the levels feel fresh is a huge understatement, as you don't even have time to feel that way before you're on to the next idea already. This fast level of pacing is super refreshing when compared to some of the other games in the industry, and it shows how much creativity and passion the developers have. Bowser's Fury is probably the best example of this, where literally the second you leave an area after getting a shine, it immediately changes and creates a new objective right before your eyes. And with the new power-up system where you can instantly switch to any power-up at any time, this game is really just non-stop fun. They even managed to make traveling between the levels fun with Plessy, so there really is no downtime. No one plays Mario games for the amazing story, and the games know that, so they waste no time getting right into the good stuff. Sometimes it feels like the game itself is saying, Bowser kidnapped Peach, whatever, let's get you running and jumping around as fast as possible. That's not to say that there can't be good storytelling though, as Mario Galaxy is proof they can still create amazing cutscenes with fantastic atmosphere. After playing lots of intense, confusing, and difficult games, it can feel amazing to play something as straightforward as Mario. This series consistently focuses on what's really most important in a video game, and that's fun. This level of pacing and simplicity is really the heart and soul of what makes Nintendo so great. I hope I was able to capture even a fraction of what makes Super Mario so great with this video. There are even more reasons why I love this franchise that I didn't cover, like the colorful cast of recurring characters and each game's sense of humor. I really do love everything about this series, and making this video has helped reconfirm that to me. I mean, I could probably make a separate why I love video for pretty much every one of these games, which is a sign that Mario is something truly special. Now head down to the comments and tell me what your favorite Mario games are, and some of your personal favorite memories with each one. I don't know where the Mario series will go next, but judging by how great Mario Odyssey and Bowser's Fury were, I'm sure it'll be incredible. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see ya in the next one.